Welcome to Yeshua Kids Garden. Hello and welcome to Yeshua Kids once again, and we're here with a guest which you definitely know. She's been here with us for several times now, and we're here with her again once again. So as usual, we're going to allow her to introduce herself, and then we would proceed with the discussion for today. So if you can kindly introduce yourself, that would be awesome.
Okay, thank you, and good afternoon from here, from my corner here. My name is Patricia Enase, as usual, and I'm here to, or we are here to continue where we stopped yesterday, because today's program is going to be quite interesting as usual. So let's see how far we'll go here. Thank you very much, Mr. Fortune. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that awesome introduction as always. So today we're going to be discussing a whole new topic, and the topic is titled Raising a Responsible, God-Fearing Child in a Corrupt Society as Nigeria. We're going to also start as usual with an opening question so we can get some context. So we're going to start with a question. The first question I have for you is more so, what does it mean to raise a responsible child? And how can we incorporate God-fearing principles in this process?
Well, yes. Raising a responsible child in this environment today is quite challenging. Challenging in the sense that there are so many things out there in the environment that can corrupt a child. Even if a child wants to be as clean or as decent as he or she can, it's always very difficult when you see the environment under which that child is operating. So we will try to see how we'll put these ideas in space. So for those who wish to imbibe those ideas, yes, let them take the ideas, and before you know it, they'll be able to raise up a child, a child who will stand as a model for other children in the society. And when you talk about raising a child, you don't just bring the child and throw him into the open. When a child is born, you take up the child as a mother, send the child to school, help the child to get either a skill or send into higher education, with the hope that at the end of the day, he's going to grow up to be a decent child, a child that will be responsible and reliable, and a child that can be accountable, a child that you can call 24/7 and he will be there for you. And when he says yes, his yes is yes, and his no should be no. That is how I think we as parents should raise up our children as at today. No matter how the environment, no matter how tough the environment is, we must try and instill some traits, some characters into those children that will make them to be accountable not only for themselves but to the society in general.
Okay, so I see you talked about different from your elaboration. It's more so there are different levels of or types of responsibility that can be inculcated into a child, and we talked about the school and we talked about the education from home as well. Okay, so let's broaden the scope a little bit and let's try to narrow it down to this. So the next question I have for you is, how can parents then effectively model godliness and responsibility to their children in a society that often values are the opposite?
Yeah. Now, when you are bringing up a child, it's not that you take a paper and a notebook and you start writing. Today, I'm going to teach how to greet. Tomorrow, I'm going to no. It comes just like that, out of instinct. A child might be behaving somehow, and before you know it, you have started teaching, you have started explaining, you have started talking. to the child to say, this is how you should do things. This is how you are not what. This is what and what you are not supposed to do. But in bringing up a child, like you said, you can go spirit. You can look at the spiritual aspects and also look at the mundane aspects of life. Like, if you want a child to grow up responsibly, first of all, you must teach that child self-care. You know, when you wake up in the morning as a child, what and what are you supposed to do? Some children will wake up and just walk past their parents without saying good morning. They are like that. I told you the story. I said the story of a grandma who you cannot walk past her unless you greet her. If you don't greet her, she will pull you back and say, come, am I too small that you didn't see me? So you have to introduce that self-care. You know, you must be able to say, look, I wake up in the morning, I will take my bath, I will dress up my room and do everything before I go to school. All those ones are the self-care things we are talking about. And your health. The health is very, very important when you talk about bringing up a child. Because if a child is sick, for sure, it's not going to learn anything. There are children who run away from injection. They don't want to, the moment they see the nurse, even the sight of the nurse will even scare them. But if you tell them that, look, this is not, it's for your own good, we are doing these things so that you can grow up strong and everything, I'm sure the child will always understand. Then you must have to teach the child time management, because some children are so lazy that before they will wake up, the whole town is up already. So time management, you wake up in the morning, this is the time you're supposed to wait, and be specific, please, when you are trying to inculcate this discipline into these children. You have to be specific. By 6 o'clock, by 7 o'clock, by 8 o'clock, you must get up out of that bed. And if the child is not getting up, then that shows that there's something wrong somewhere along the line. You begin to find out. And it's also the same. If a child is always getting up at 6, and by 6:10, you have not seen that child, know that there's something wrong.
Hey, look, these days, where economy just they fail. Come with Sapa way, no fit explain. You get brand where they sell, we go pay. We go pay, go pay, go hey, pay. Look, info, Leon Finfo, follow me, go, may we get money. Make you call your amigos, free membership, sign up quick, and no they carry body. If you buy, if you sell for this website, no commission, no cost for this website. One cool sellers, we go give you good price. And if you know like I'm gonna next guy. Hey, no middleman, we go try take your money to do your thing on a solo. If you find anything, if you shop buy for any location, where you there, so my manana. Distress sales. My manana. Distress sales. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net.
Everybody just they dance, they smile for here, man. Like say things they share for this website. Let me go check out this website, man.
So you have to go and find out what is wrong with that child. So when we talk about self-care, those are the things we have talking about. Then another area you can talk about is maybe task management. You know, you give a child something to do. Make sure you sweep this room before I come back. You will say yes. By the time you come back, the room is not swept. Even if the room is swept, all the tables, the chairs, everything, they are scattered upside down. No, that's not it. You have to put your foot down to say, look, this is what I want you to do, and you have to comply. So all those are the things that I think, some of these traits that you have to drive down the throats of these children to make sure that they come out what you really want them to be.
Okay, so I think we've talked about the responsibility aspect. Well, how about the aspect of godliness? Could you have any thing to say on that?
Yes. In godly, yes. Prayers. People should pray, because I myself, I believe in prayers. And if you want to to sleep, before you sleep, you should give thanks to the Almighty for giving you the chance to experience the whole day. You will go to bed, wake up. Not everybody who go to bed will wake up the following day. So that you have been given the opportunity to sleep, to wake up. You should kneel down and give thanks to the Almighty, because He is the author and the finisher of life. I may not say of faith, but of life. So if you want to show gratitude, the only way you are not going to cook rice, a pot of rice for the Almighty to say, look, this pot of rice for you. No, but thank you, gratitude, thankfulness is very, very important, very crucial, because when Jesus cured 10 lepers, I mean, whoever, you should tell me, Mr. Fortune. Only one person came to say thank you. And Jesus said, were they not 9? Were they not 10? So where are the other 9? You understand? So even for our Lord to talk about thankfulness, to talk about gratitude, we as little beings, we should be able to say thank you to the Almighty whenever we have given the grace to pass through new experiences and even old experiences too. We have to give Him the glory. Yeah.
Indeed.
So we must thank the Almighty from time to time. Yes.
Indeed, we see generation today of ingrates. We now have this entitlement mentality. I think that's a very important point, because if we can begin to fix that aspect, because no matter how little something is done, you have to show some level of gratitude, and that ties into responsibility, because even if our Lord and Savior could request for that as well, then it speaks about what is expected of us as regards character. Okay, so let's move on to the next question which I have for you, which is precisely, in today's world where corruption seems pervasive, what are some specific challenges parents face in teaching their children good values? This is an interesting one, because I would like to know what your take is on this.
Yes. Corruption has eaten deep into the fabrics of our society. And the unfortunate thing is that even these children, some of them are aware that there's corruption out there. And because they are helpless, they have no choice but to toe the line. Because when you talk about corruption, your father earns probably 25,000 naira as his salary. Your father comes home, you are asking for a shoe of 100,000. You're asking for a dress of 150,000. And when your father says, why, my dear? He said, because we have to attend the party. And this party is being hosted by the children of the bourgeois. And because you want to feel you want to belong, let me use that as the word they use. Because you want to belong, you want to now make your father to go the extra mile to make sure that he provides for you. But that is not the issue. Why should a father go out of his or her way to provide just because he wants to meet the expectations of the people out there? I mean, it doesn't make sense. If you have 1 naira, buy a dress of 1 naira for your child, and that's it. If your child says he's not comfortable now with that 1 naira dress, then let her grow up and buy for herself, Abi. So that is it. And corruption in the society, yeah, there's plenty of it. You see somebody who was a poor, mechanic or something. Yeah, I'm not saying mechanics are poor. Please don't quote me wrong. Let me use the word poor out there. If you are
definitely. I think in all aspects of life, you have people who are doing more successfully than others. So people can, in fact, be poor in any domain of life. So I mean, that's understandable.
Okay, so because if your child is going for a party and you want the child to dress like the child of a permanent secretary, for example, I mean, it will not work, because you cannot afford what that child of a permanent secretary is going to wear. And if you tell your child to sit down at all, he will grumble and things like that. But if you drive that value, that look, my dear daughter or my dear son, always value what you have, no matter how small. As far as that dress is clean,
Hmm.
go out and meet your mates out there. I think that is the spirit behind it. So you don't say, oh, because these children are going to federal government colleges, my son or my daughter must go there, and you have to go and bribe your way. You have to go and buy question papers for the child to be able to cheat and pass exam. All those things are not necessary, because as parents, we are supposed to bring up these children upright with the fear of the Almighty in their hearts. But if you fail to drive home that fear of God, you will be the one to suffer the consequences at the end of the day.
Indeed. Indeed, I think that's a very important point, because I've actually witnessed situations where parents are screaming. Why? Because they went out of their way to satisfy the want. I wouldn't say a need of the child, because what stops the child for settling for something that is good enough or that is sustainable enough? And the time the child becomes insatiable and now decides and believes in his heart that everything that he wants to get, he should get. You're not teaching, first of all, the child to know how to fend for himself. As you said, later on, if the child wants that, he should be able to know that he needs to do the needful to get that. So once that is traded by the parents, you breed a generation of entitled children who are laid back. I think that's a very key point you bring out, you brought out, because that's something we're seeing more and more today, and that feeds into the entitlement mentality. Okay, so thank you as always. That was a beautiful response, and it's something that speaks to me, because I've witnessed this severally in society today, amongst friends, also amongst family as well, and it's something that needs to be fixed. So let's move on to the next. How can we as parents? So basically, this is an open question. How can we as parents create environments at home that foster spiritual growth and moral responsibility for our children?
Yes. Wow, this is a very, very good one, because there are things I come across every day, almost every other day, because of the nature of the job I did before. I told you I was in charge of quality assurance, who were called inspectors before, but they upgraded us by giving us a big title, quality assurance officers. So that is it. Now, children have various backgrounds, and you cannot use one to measure the other. You give children an assignment to go home and finish the assignment. By the time they come back the following day, have you done the assignment? Some will say yes, others no. Those who have done the assignment, they will submit it. Those who did not do, what happened? Mama, excuse me, sir, we didn't have light. Oh, no light. Okay. So if there's no light, what do you do? Must you not find an alternative, so that either you do this, you have done this assignment before you sleep, or when you wake up very early, do your work, come to school and complete the assignment. So that is no excuse, because some lazy children use that. I don't have no table in my house. There's no light. There is no this. There's no that. They keep giving flimsy excuses, which to me is nothing to clap for them, to say, okay, your parents are now guilty. No, they are not guilty. They have brought you to this world, and you must struggle to make sure that you meet up the expectations of the society. Your parents are only there to guide you as an individual. They are to guide you. But if they have the wherewithal to guide you, good. Imagine a laborer who has 2 wives and 10 children, all staying in one room. You give a child from that background an assignment to go home. Where is he going to write it? If there's no electric power, NEPA pole, maybe in front of their house where he can sit under the light and do his assignment, he will not be able to do the assignment for you. So by the time he gets to school the following day, you start flogging this child for nothing, because it's not, first, it's his fault, but to a large extent, not his fault. So you have to weigh both sides of the equation before you pass judgment. I had a teacher who was always coming late to school, and as soon as I got to the school, I asked for their records. And the first thing the principal said was, Mama, this teacher is always coming late. I'm tired. I should look for a way to transfer this teacher from here. I said, why? He said, because he's always coming late. But principal, did you find out why this man is always coming late? Do you know why? You don't know why. You find out first. So at the end, I called this teacher and I said, how come you're always coming late? Hey, he said, excuse me, ma, if you know where I stay, you will just pity me. I said, where do you live? Where he lives is very, very, very far from the school. And I'm seeing here that your subjects come first and second periods. I said, it's deliberate. So the principal just wants to punish me. If not, I have told him severally that I should put my lessons towards the end of the day, so that even if I come late, I'll be able to handle those lessons. But here you are putting somebody you know very well that comes from afar, first and second periods. I mean, how do you want such a person to operate and do well? It's not possible. A teacher will struggle to take transport from his place of residence to the school and probably get to school around 9 when the first lesson would have gone. So if you now put his lesson on the first period, how do you think he can cope? And before you know, they start marking absent, 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 absent. That one will not tell well of the teacher. Neither is it going to tell well of the school, of the principal. So anyway, I was able to resolve that because at the end of the day, the teacher now became the best teacher in that district during the merit award ceremony. So when you do things, you have to add a human face, find out why such things are happening. Why don't you do your homework? The child will explain. And if it is something you can intervene, then go ahead and intervene. But if it's something you cannot do, then you must find a way out of that situation so that the child does not become a dropout, because after all, they don't, even the principal herself don't like me. Inspector will come. I thought I will be able to do something. She didn't even do anything. So before you know it, she will start jumping into buses to be a bus conductor. And we have lost a soul from there. So we have to put a human face in whatever we do. If we do that, I think the reward will be awesome. Yes.
Okay. So I have a question on that, and I understand the morality of that aspect. So I don't know if I should go into the question or I should just proceed to the next question I have prepared for you. Having a human face, I know in some instances it could be wickedness on the part of the principal, because people today are very wicked and they have their ways of getting at people that don't seem direct because of their position at the moment. But wouldn't you say in such a situation that the principal might, in as regards changing the periods, don't you think that changing the periods in such a situation might affect the other periods of the other people coming from other places, like the other teachers, for example? Also, don't you also think that I think maybe from the onset it should have been something that should have been looked at as a criteria for employment as regards distance, because obviously that was bound to affect the dynamics of the school. So how would you manage a situation like that, understanding that the principal has to look at the interest of the school in the sense that things have to, the teacher has to be there on time? Because if indeed this teacher leaves far, right, it would still be a consistent issue because it's still presently facing the challenges. So how would you, in that situation, knowing that the school has his interest and the teacher, that teacher in that case has his or her own interest, how would you manage that in such a situation?
Yes, it's manageable. One can manage such a situation. Now, if you are being employed, you are given a form to fill anywhere in Nigeria, not only where I am, but everywhere, and you have to indicate your home address and things like that. And you have told yourself that you will work in any part of that state that you have been posted to. Do you understand?
Yes.
So if you are posted to any state, to any town, to any school, you should not complain until you find out the modalities. If, for example, you tried coming from a distance for 1 month, 2 months, and you see that it's not convenient, like I said, a human face, you go to the principal to say, look, this is my challenge, and because of this, because of that, I'm not able to teach the first periods. And even by the way, before they prepare timetable in schools, at least when I was there, there'll be a staff meeting and people will indicate their interest. It is when all those spaces have been filled and we don't have some areas will not be left out. Nobody will want to go there, or nobody will want to come.
Yes.
So at the end, you will not use your managerial skills or whatever you call it to make sure that everybody is happy at the end of the day. And the moment you are happy, they leave it to your fate. If you like, you come from 100 kilometers to come and teach. The only thing is that teach my lessons and that's all. Whether you are trekking, you are flying, you are doing coming by boat or whatever, that should be your own headache. But I must ensure that everybody is given equal opportunity. You call a staff meeting and say, look, this is a position. There's always a teacher or somebody who is responsible for preparing the timetable. Don't go behind to say, hey, always put my name for number 1, because that's where if you do that, then you are shortchanging others. What about those who don't have access to the person preparing the timetable? What will they do? So left for me, during the meeting, indicate the area you stay. And the person who is preparing the timetable is a human being with also a human face. So it's going to put the timetable in a way that your lessons will not come at the first and second period, especially when you are coming from afar, so that you will be able to teach those lessons. But even then, human beings, some of them will take advantage of that. And instead of coming to teach at the 5th or 6th period, before you know, they'll be sleeping when they come, when they get to school, because they are tired, they'll have to rest a bit. By 1 o'clock, or when the 5th or 6th period is coming, they are ready to run home. So, the human beings are complex, and you find a way, any way to come to a compromise and manage the situation. All I know is that I always use that young man as an example because he really, really impressed me. He changed his attitude in everything and wanted to please me by all means. And at the end, he became the best teacher in that area in that year. So I've forgotten his name, but even though I will not mention it, but I'm very proud of such changes, positive changes. Don't just go to say, hey, I've been too far now. How can I be good? No. Don't take that line. Don't toe that line at all. Make effort. And when the authority sees that, look, this man is making effort to make sure he gets here. So why not we help? Even the management will come together and find solution to his or her challenge. That's the way I see. But when you lazy out and say, that lazy one, I better put on for first lesson, John, make him do that. He will suffer. You know that. That's that.
So in a sense, a renegotiation will be the solution and having all parties involved. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Everybody will be happy for it.
Yes. Okay. So I think there's always a compromise in everything where we can find some level of balance. Okay. All right. So I see you quoted a story that occurred and used that to imply appreciation or show the importance of appreciation. So I just want to string onto that and move on to the next question.
Look, these days, where economy just they fail. Come with Sapa way, no fit explain. You get brand where they sell, we go pay. We go pay, go pay, go pay. Hey, look, info, Leon Finfo, follow me, go, may we get money. Make you call your amigos, free membership, sign up quick, and no they carry body. If you buy, if you sell for this website, no commission, no cost for this website. One cool sellers, we go give you good price. And if you know like I'm gonna next guy. Hey, no middleman, we go try take your money to do your thing on a solo. If you find anything, if you sharply buy for any location, where you there, so my manana. This Distress sales. Distress sales. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net.
Everybody just dey dance, dey smile for here, man. Be like say things dey shele for this website. Let me go check out this website, man.
Which is also tied in scripture. So, based on your experience and how well you've read, would you say there are any particular verses or stories that can be used by parents to actually guide their children aright on this subject of uprightness and also on this subject of becoming responsible? What scripture speaks to you the most?
The 10 commandments are there, Abby, or the commandments. I should respect. Help me now.
Honor the father and the mother so that your days will be long.
Exactly. You should honor your father and your mother so that your days will be long.
Yes.
But if you decide not to honor them and your days are short, then you're on your own. You understand? So for me, you don't need to quote scriptures to children. The way you yourself comport yourself, the way you live your life, is enough example. Because when you quote the scriptures and you quote anything, they are things that are abstract to them. They are not seeing those things. But if they say, oh, the gate to this my house, maybe the father now, the door to this my room is going to be locked as from 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. Put a time and say, look, if you come 1 minute after that time, just don't come. Stay outside and you will tell me the following day where you slept. You know that you have to put your foot down because these children, if you give them one inch, they will take a foot. You know? They take a mile or whatever. So you have to be very, very, it's not, is that being strict? Is that the word being strict? You have to be specific. You know, this is what will happen in this house. If you don't pray, you will not eat. If you finish eating, remove your plates and wash them and keep them. You know, these are the small things they teach children as they are growing up. And when they grow up, they will never depart from that. That was what the scripture has said.
I think
bring up a child the way it is. Exactly.
Yeah, that's from it. Yes. I think that's very interesting because, I mean, those are the two pillars. When you can instill in them honoring the fear of God first and honoring their parents and what that comes with, which actually comes with a promise. And then everything, like you said, some things are abstract because once the child understands that he or she needs to honor his or her parents, then definitely every other thing would follow in line. And eventually the result will be train up a child in the way he should go. And when he grows up, he will not depart from it. Okay. All right. Yeah. So thank you for that. So let's move on. So, next question I have for you is, how do we balance teaching children to be compassionate and understanding with the need to help them recognize dangers of being overly trusting in a corrupt world?
Okay, let me give you an example. Maybe an old woman is coming from the market, right? Is carrying bags here and there. And as a young, able-bodied, strong woman, you walk past that woman without saying good afternoon or good morning, mama. Nothing, you just walk past. I mean, that doesn't show you a responsible young man. As you're approaching the woman, you slow down and say, mama, let me help you with one bag. If the mama say, mama, my son, don't worry, you can go on your own. Your mind will be at rest that at least you made an attempt to help the mama. Is the mama who refused on her own. So, but children these days, they don't care about elderly. They don't know whether you are old or young. In the bus, they'll be pushing you. And when you don't move early on time, they will just shove you in one corner. Let me tell you one thing I experienced just this morning. You know, you called me and I told you I was somewhere. I went to the bank. Some money was disappearing from my account, and I was wondering. I said, "Where is this money going to? Let me go and find out." When I got to one place, the place was like a market. I said, "Let me try that one. Try another bank." It was worse, and I entered, and there were two young gentlemen who were in front. I think they are brothers, about 20 something, and they look foreign. Maybe they came from outside on holidays or something. Do you know they gave me the chance to say, grandma, because one was calling me auntie. I said, Kai, who are you calling her? Don't call me auntie. I'm not auntie. The deaf woman.
the rank of auntie has been way past.
Yes, he was calling me auntie. I said, do I look like auntie? I said, grandma. I said, oh, mommy, grandma. I said, hey, better. So the two young men beside me, they now smiled and gave me the chance to say, mama, anything you want to do, just do it. And that is how a responsible child is supposed to be. And when I finished everything and I was going, I said, oh, my children, thank you very, very much. I said, this is exactly what my son will do if he find himself in such a position. And that is just the truth. My son can never see you carrying load and he will just walk past you. He won't do that. He will stop. Anyway, I'm not talking about my children now. I'm talking about children generally. That children must learn to respect so that their days can be long. That is what the Bible also said. So if you respect your parents, your days will not be long. And the prayers alone, oh, my daughter, oh, my son, thank you very much. God bless you. That thing goes a long way. You might think it's just an ordinary talk. No, it's not ordinary. God bless you. And on a day like this, so we must teach our children to be respectful, to be responsible, and to always sense the environment where they find themselves, so that they can always react according to according to that environment. Even some mothers to some fathers are overbearing. So when you notice that your father is overbearing, you begin to ask yourself, how come this man is my father, or how come this woman is my mother? There must be a reason for you to learn one or two things from that of being overbearing. And are you able to learn anything from being overbearing under those circumstances? That is the question.
Okay, so I think you cited an example, but I would like for you to cite an example where where in training, we say draw the line. Okay, we're training our children to be responsible. We're training them not to react violently. For example, would you give us an example where there, obviously the Bible talks about be you wise, but be you not thou foolish also. Because the children of the world, so to say, are wiser than those who tend to be to be righteous, because the righteous have limitations. So understanding that the unrighteous have no limitations, or those who have not been well trained by their parents, and obviously the product are people who are unruly, violent, how would you now, as a mother, as a parent, try to teach your children, okay, I'm teaching you this. Be good, be gentle, don't react violently. Where do we draw the line to avoid being used by those who have no barriers? Can you cite an example?
I was saying that children are very sensitive to situations. And if, for example, I was going to give an example. Where is... Can you please feed me in with the last...
The question, okay. So now, I'm going to take the question again. So how do we balance teaching children to be compassionate and understanding with the need to help them recognize the dangers of being overly trusting in a corrupt world? So where do we draw the line for people who may want to use these virtues as an occasion to take advantage? We have in the societies that this guy no sharp, for example. So how do we draw that line? How can we now teach them, okay, this is the limit? Can you give an example with an illustration?
Yes. Now, when you are bringing up a child, they are quick-witted. They are very sharp. They are intelligent. Whereas there are some who, unless you draw their ear, they may not even know or understand what you are saying. Now, let me use an example. When I don't want to be personal in all this, but there are some children, when you blink your eye, maybe you find them you all find yourselves in a place where maybe as a mother you are not comfortable with the environment, you wouldn't want your children to be involved and things like that. When you blink your eye, the sharp ones will know that you are about to say something. But the dumbs will also, mommy, what's wrong with your eye? Why are you blinking? Why are you doing your eye like that? And you become ashamed of yourself and say, oh, no, it's nothing, but it's something. And that is because you have not inculcated you have not passed on that information that, look, if we go out and I look at you straight in the eye, it means something. If I look at you this way, it means another thing. If I blink my eye twice, it means something. Once you give them that background training or background information before anything, unless it's a daft child, you must listen. So, first and foremost, you must be able to train up those children the way you want them to be. If you train them the way you want them to be and they are going the other way, then you know that there's a problem. And most times, what is the problem? Even us parents, we are part of the challenge. They said, don't sell alcohol to a child below 18 years. And here you are. Ola, yes, sir. Take 5 naira, go buy me sachets of Chelsea. Is the child going to say no? That he's not going to go out to buy that sachet of Chelsea for you? He will go. He will take the money from you and buy the sachet of Chelsea and give it to you. The following day, the same thing. The third day, the boy might think that drinking alcohol is how you belong. And because he now understands that as how you belong, and maybe his mates will say, so you never tried this gin? You know, that kind of, he will be tempted to taste, no matter how
Hey, look, these days, where economy just they fail. Come with Sapa way, no fit explain. You get brand where they sell, we go pay. We go pay, go pay, go hey, pay. Look, info, Leon Finfo, follow me, go, may we get money. Make you call your amigos, free membership, sign up quick, and no they carry body. If you buy, if you sell for this website, no commission, no cost for this website. But cool sellers, we go give you good price. And if you know like I'm go the next guy. Hey, no middleman, we go try take your money, they do your thing on a solo. If you find anything, if you sharply buy for any location, where you there, so my manana, distress sales. My manana, distress sales. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net.
Everybody just they dance, they smile for here, man. Like say things they share for this website. Maybe go check out this website, man.
How strong will he may be. One day he will say, this thing, let me even try itself and see how it's going to look like. And before you know it, the line you have drawn, the father has come to spoil the line by sending that child to go and buy a sachet of Chelsea. And when you start on that note, where do you want to land? Of course, you are going to land in after one, you take two, after two, you take, before you know, you take a bottle. But a child who is upright, who is God sent, let me use that word, that look, I'm sending you to that family to change that family, the situation in that family. You know, a child will be born into the home of drunkards, but he will not taste alcohol. it can happen.
Now this is
Yes.
interesting. I think sorry to cut you short because I think that mention of God sense actually spoke to me because there's some things that I've not. I think that you just coined it perfectly because there's some abnormalities which are positives, and you wonder how is that possible in this environment. And that is I think the best way to describe that is God sense. I'm gonna let you take the floor again. Sorry.
Yes, it's good. It's good. It's good when you make observations like that because that means we are all on this. Two of us and all those who are listening, we are all on the same page. So it takes the will of God to be able to overcome such temptation. And such children, they are there. You think there are no children like that? There are children. There are children who separate their father and mothers when they are fighting. Can you imagine? A father and mother is fighting and the children say, hey, daddy not do, daddy don't do, mama, I mean, we are supposed to draw the line and set standard, and that even when we are quarreling with our spouses, we don't let the whole world, even the children, should not even know that something like that is happening. So that is how you begin to draw the line, you begin to separate them. You have 10 children, all these 10 children cannot be the same. That is for sure. There are going to be some that are very, very good. There are some that are just there. There are some that are down stubborn. So you have to use different ways and different skills to manage them. There's a proverb in pidgin that who get big teeth, he go get big lip wey go take cover am. Yes. So if you can afford to burn the whole place littered with children, you must have the wherewithal to be able to cater for them. And if you know you cannot cater for them, don't bring them to this world. Children tell to their parents, if you know say no, if you pay my school fees, why you can't burn me now? I've heard them, I've seen them. It's not that it's story. No. So moderation is good, but at the end of the day, they will tell you children are gifts from God. Did they say you should bring them to come and I don't know. That's another one.
Yeah, I think the example you gave of the child who says, if you cannot cater for me, why did you bring me into this world if you cannot send me to school? So and I think also even for a child to say that also shows a lack of training, because for you to have the audacity and to have the that level of behavior, to have that motivation to speak to your parents that way, then there's a failure not just on the aspect of school or providing that child with education. There's a failure in many other aspects, because I remember it just reminds me of a time where there was a parent during a celebration, and we had bouncing castles, and I was basically in charge of that that celebration. So we set up everything, and I found that there was a family that came, and the family came, and the mother came with a child, and the mother was able to buy a few popcorns, and here and there they shared one popcorn. And I could see that the children wanted to really go on the bouncing castle, but I left a strict instruction that nobody goes except they pay, because that was the instruction given to me. But when I just arrived at the point of departure, and I heard what the child said, the mother really wanted the child to have, or the children to have, that opportunity. And the child said, "Don't worry, Mom, let's go home. We'll watch TV together and share the popcorn." That touched me. And unfortunately, I was too late. Because if I was present, I would have allowed the children free of charge at my expense. So it's a very interesting. You brought out a lot of interesting things. I cannot really touch on them, but I feel you in the question I asked you last, as regards drawing the line. Do not expose children early at a point where they cannot manage the comprehension or that separation of what is right or wrong, or at the point where if you expose them too early, they might not be able to gauge themselves and transition themselves without any guidance into the level of abuse. For example, alcohol, the Bible doesn't prohibit alcohol for those who are Bible believing. But at the end of the day, there is also, the Bible talks about drunkenness. So do not expose your child to that world at an early phase until that child has built that maturity to be able to dabble into those environments. And I think that is a very interesting viewpoint which you've brought out, and I see how that can, on the long run, tie into the barriers. So the barriers are communicated, but not necessarily verbally. So that's a very interesting view which you brought out. So thank you for that. So let's move on to the next. So the next question I have for you is, what role does the community and church play in supporting parents in raising responsible and God-fearing children? I know you spoke about our communities in the past, so I think this is a good opportunity to really draw those points in and to be more focused on this note. So, yes.
Okay. In the community, for example, I talked about the Tales by Moonlight, yeah? Tales by Moonlight. And during these Tales by Moonlight, the elders in organized communities, they take turns to take these children, you know. Today is Mama so and so's turn. The following day, you know, they take turns to educate these children during moonlight. And they tell them stories of tortoise and this and all those stories. They make sense. They make a lot of sense. When you talk about the tortoise who is slow, you talk about he's so wise, he's always dribbling people, you know, in stories. Those are real stories. So when you in the community, you teach them morals. When you see an elder, this is how you must greet. When you see somebody who is crying, find out why that person is crying. Something must have gone wrong with that person. So all these are empathy. You try to empathize with that person to see whether you can be of help to such a person. And when you do these stories in the villages, because most villages, everybody know almost each other. So if a child of Mr. A steal corn, before you know it, your whole family is aware that, hey, since Mr. So child don't carry corn for inside market, you know, that kind of a thing. So the news in the villages, they spread very, very fast. So one has to be extremely careful by bringing up these children in upright way. If anything is happening and you see somebody stealing anybody's thing, tell the person not to steal. But if he continues to steal, go and tell the father, or go and come and tell me. I would know how to do. You know, that's how you bring up children. Give them that confidence that whatever they do, you are solidly behind them, especially when they are doing the right thing. It is only when they are doing the wrong thing you scold them and say, come, next time don't try that, because if you do that, you know exactly what I can do to you. You know, that is it. So Tales by Moonlight, meetings under the trees, calling children. Maybe you don't even have money, but you just boil one cup of rice and say, oh, DJ, come and play music. We dance, eat, and play together. That is it. Nothing too personal or too serious about all these things. So to me, when you bring them up well, no matter what, they are going to remember. Now, let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
I was teaching in a boys' school for a long time, for almost 8 years. I was teaching in a boys' school. Then I got transferred to a female school, only females too. And the difference was so clear. The boys were intelligent and the girls were just there. I say, hey, how do we do this now? At times, I don't know. I was still young then, so I could abuse. I could do it. I don't think will happen. I will abuse, and I thought those ones would bring changes. No, it didn't bring. And there was one particular girl who was just, I don't even know if you can open the head and put the book inside, he will still not understand. I now told her, I said, I think her name was Esther. I said, look, this girl, even if they break your head and put this book, you won't even know it. So if I were you, I would just go and take a shop in the market and start selling tomatoes and pepper and know that at the end of the day, I have done something. You know, I said it and I just left. I didn't even know that this girl cried. She went home, told the parents what the teacher has said. Then they said, you don't know anything now. Oh, if teacher tell you that one, you go find tomatoes and pepper and make you sell. And that was how she started selling tin tomato. And today, I learned she has about 3 shops in that city where I was. So, what am I trying to say? To me, I thought I was doing the right thing, But you didn't go down well with the child that, oh, so look at what this teacher has told me. That means I'm nothing. That means I can't do anything. Okay, this thing she said I should do. Let me go and try these tomatoes and see how it comes out. And today I learned she's a big lady right now in that city. So it depends on your approach. These children are still children, whether you like it or not. And they will still be depending on some of our guidance and some of our talks and some of our instructions. If you say something carelessly, thinking that, oh, that's the end, no, there's nothing careless in creation. Anything you sow, they say you must reap. And you're not going to reap one seed, you are going to reap a bunch of seeds. So we have to be careful how we throw our words and how we throw our actions.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
The second part?
Yes. Okay, so I'll let you touch on the second part, but I just want to comment on something. I think you said something very monumental there, and luckily, what you uttered in that moment of would I say in quotes condemnation, right? Wasn't something negative. Because assuming that was a negative thing in all definitions of negativity, that child would have told that line. Especially when the child was looking for support from the parents, the child would have definitely told that line. Luckily, it was on the line which borders around commerce and business, and she decided to venture into that. And that goes to show that anything you say can actually, in that moment, really touches the heart of that child in that moment of sensitivity, and can actually cause that child to toe a different line. And we thank the Most High that you said something that wasn't negative, because like I also believe that some children actually not everybody is built for school as regards the white collar system. Some people actually are more practical than the others, and they need some level of practicality. And that child or that girl is testament to the fact that we can thrive. Maybe what we're fighting in, it's not necessarily for us, but of course, some basic level of education is important for you to at least compete in society. So I just wanted to comment on that. So I will let you tackle the second part of that question. So you can go ahead.
The second one, please. The second question. I was trying to adjust the light because my battery was running down and I was looking for a socket to plug it. Yeah, that's why you see that the background has changed.
Okay, so I think you have really touched on it, because I think I spoke about church and the community. So I don't know if you want to touch on the church aspect, if that's what you were speaking about.
Yeah. The church. We always have Sunday school classes. And in such classes, they put people who are knowledgeable about the Bible, about the scriptures, about morals to handle such classes. And most times, those instructions or those teachings in the Sunday school, they go a long way to help mold the characters of children, because most cases, the children of certain age are the ones that are placed into such as Sunday schools. And if they see that the teacher who is handling the Sunday school is always early, of course they'll be coming early. But if they now see that the teacher, it will just stroll in when it's almost getting to time and say, so what did you learn yesterday? Okay, in the name of the Father and the Son, those ones, when you think children are not watching, they are seeing. There are a lot of things they see. And when you ask about, if you go to, let me give you an example. If I go to a school and I want to taste the pulse of the school, I ask in the assembly, I will ask the children, or I will ask somebody to say, out of all the teachers, which of the teachers do you like most? Is it the maths, the French? You start calling them, and you will see those who will echo the one that is really good. There will be more, and from there you can really know. Though people can be mischievous, some children can be mischievous and echo everywhere, but with proper guidance, that's how you know a teacher who is really doing well. And if you say, oh, this teacher, you don't mark your register on time. Why? So we just say, Mama, excuse me, ma. She will just mark the register. She will just call one or two persons and disappear. Because these children are innocent. They don't even know whether what they are saying it has its own implications. So if you want to get to the bottom of anything, my phone number when I was in service is all over the school, because anywhere I go to, I tell them my phone number. If any teacher is asking you to bring 1 naira, 2 naira, bring broom, bring this, bring that, I say just send me a message and I will respond, no matter how long. If you'd like, put your name. If you like, don't put your name. And do you know I was getting messages, and that was how I was able to dictate one evil that was going on in one particular school. And by the time I nipped it in the bud, people were now saying, Mama, Abi, how did you know? I said, don't ask me how did I know. I am an investigation and monitoring officer. So why should you ask me such a question? So children have a way of bringing out the best in one, and also learning from adults. If you learn punctuality, for sure, they will do their best to be punctual. If I call a meeting, for example, when I was in school for 12 o'clock, by 11:45, almost everybody is seated. Not that I will say, oh, you must sit. No. But they know that 11:45, I will be there. And nobody will want to come in when the yoga is sitting on the table already. So most people will struggle to make sure that they come in. You can pass instructions, you can pass messages without the cane, without say I must do this. No. Just do your things quietly. You want the meeting for 12, 11:45, you are there, you are sitting on the table, you are just waiting until they come in. And once they see you, those who have conscience, they will know that this mama, she's always coming early, so you better go there on time, And before you know it, the system will change. There is nowhere I will call a meeting today, even if, since I'm out of the service for almost 7 or 8 years now. But I know that when they see me, they will know, Mama, you are really done well. If I'm doing my birthday, you will see my platform full. Mr. Fortune, when is my birthday next year? I know you are going to send me birthday wishes, and you will see the number of human beings that will send me birthday wishes. Not that I give them anything, no, or will they give me anything? No, but I try to live an upright life. It's not easy, but I tried my best to make sure that as far as teaching, as far as the sector is concerned, I was always myself, 247.
Yes.
So that's it.
Indeed, because as you're speaking, it's speaking to me as well, because I am also a teacher.
Yes,
so I'm also a teacher, so I can understand that, because there's a difference when you teach from the heart and when you teach as your job or for your money and you're not really invested.
Exactly.
So I think
yes.
So I think in all instances of life, there's a need. If the moment you occupy the position, there's a need for a sense of responsibility. So you're there to do the work. So
Yes.
that's I can relate to that. So thank you very much.
Hey, look, these days where economy just they fail. Come with Sapa way no fit explain. You get brand where they sell we go pay. We go pay, go pay, go hey, pay. Look, info, Leon Finfo, follow me go, may we get money. Make you call your amigos, free membership, sign up quick and no they carry body. If you buy, if you sell for this website, no commission, no cost for this website. But cool sellers, we go give you good price. And if you know like I'm gonna next guy. Hey, no middleman, we go try take your money to do your thing on a solo. If you find anything, if you shop buy for any location, where you there so. My manana, distress sales. My manana, distress sales. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net.
everybody just dey dance, dey smile for here, man. Be like say things dey shele for this website. Make we go check out this website, man.
So most of the things you said today has actually spoken to me, because like it's very relatable, and I hope our viewers will understand. So
Yes.
let's move on to the next question. So it's the next question is quite similar, but it's a similar attribute which I would like you to comment on as well. So how can parents teach their children about the importance of integrity, especially in a society where dishonesty is often rewarded? So this is very similar, but it's more so on the subject of integrity, which is another venture.
Yeah. Yes, they say charity begins at home. So if you want to teach your child or a child integrity, then you must portray that integrity in you, so that the child will see you as an upright person and then follow your footsteps. It's not a question of do as I say and not as I do. No, do as I do. That should be the slogan. You know, some people say, do as I say. Make sure you do as I say, but not as I do. Don't imitate me. Do as I do, as I say. But it's not supposed to be that way. Do as I do. And when you do that, you stand in the consciousness that you have asked somebody to do as you are doing. So if you become wayward, you are asking that child to be wayward. If you become upright, you are also asking that child to be upright. Let me give you something. If you are traveling, for example, from here to anywhere now, you enter the bus, they will say, let us pray before the bus will move. Let somebody who is moved in the spirit pray. Everybody will keep quiet until probably somebody with courage will say, okay, let us pray in the name of, that kind of a thing. We don't know the implication of that. And the implication is that for you to raise up your hand to say such a prayer carrying a bus load of human beings, you must know exactly what you are doing. Because the moment that bus moves, the responsibility is now on your shoulder, because you have prayed, you have asked the Almighty to help you so that this bus can journey straight to its destination. So you can't just pray there and just say, oh, I've prayed. No, you will keep praying and praying until that bus gets to the destination, all the passengers come down. And that is when you'll be free. So when you say integrity, if you know you don't have integrity, if you know you don't have that spirit of that strength in you, that spiritual strength, you don't have it, please, I will use this opportunity to tell all those who pray to say, look, let me just, I will say my own, because if you say the prayer for the whole bus, the responsibility, like I said, rests on your shoulders. So when you talk about integrity, you talk about being upright, you talk about all these things, they go with prayers. If you want to pray and you know you are quarreling with somebody, before you left your house this morning or you left your compound, you were quarreling, and when you get to the station, they'll say, let us pray, and before you know, you just jump in the name of the Father and the Son. That doesn't make sense. So we have to live this life consciously. We have passed the stage of I believe. I believe. No, you now have to be convinced of what you are believing. If you pray, is the Almighty going to hear your prayers? And if you are busy quarreling, keeping grudge, or abusing somebody before you got to the park, are you sure you are clean enough to say that prayer and to carry the whole bus load along with you? So conscience, it goes back to what we talked about in conscientization. You have to live the life up to a point that you become conscious of what is happening around you. You don't take things for granted. You don't just say, before you say you are running into a culvert. And before you know it, because these days, judgment is right there. Judgment is even going on, not that it is right there. It's going on. That if you do anything, it depends on the gestation period of that thing you have done. All seeds, when they plant seeds, they have different growing period where
Germination
they
period as
mature.
well. Hmm.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So it depends. It depends on the gravity of what you have done.
Mm.
There are some you say, hey, before you run into something and you have taken your judgment right there.
Mm.
So one has to be upright. You always stand on your duty post. Are you a policeman? Are you in the army? Are you a teacher? Are you a nurse? Some nurses will be looking at a woman in labor, and instead of petting that woman so that I can deliver, we are shouting, eh? Why those shout? Yes, you shout too much. I have been
Mm.
shouting since you came into this world. You know, those are not helpful. It's true. All
Mm.
those things are not helpful.
Mm.
Instead, you placate the woman to say, "Ah, my dear, don't worry, everything will soon be okay. Just relax, breathe in, breathe out." You know, those are the things that will make somebody to be happy.
Mm.
But if you now aggravate whatever she's going through,
Mm.
then by the time she deliver, I will tell the baby, say, see this woman, that be the way they abuse me that day where I come born you.
Okay.
So one has, yes, yes. So that's it, my dear. Mhm.
Okay, so I think and that's quite interesting. So I think we have also the notion of empathy, and also what Christ says. We have to self-reflect, remove the plank in your own eye before you see clearly to remove,
Oh, another, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that in another person's eye. So at the end of the day, we there's a need for self-examination before, and self-examination, and the need to have a sense of worthiness before you can take on certain action. So examine yourself before you actually do things. Are you worthy or are you not
Exactly.
worthy? And if you're not
Yeah.
worthy, you should have the self-respect not to take on that task. So I think I'm just gonna ask you a few more, the final question. So I have a lot more questions for you, obviously, but let's jump down all the way to the close so we can wrap this up, and of course I can have time to speak to the audience. So next question I have for you is, how can parents stay encouraged and consistent in raising a responsible, God fearing child despite the challenges of a corrupt society? So we've talked about this, but now the subject matter is more so focused on consistency. How would you
At the end
advise?
of the day,
Yes.
sorry. At the end of the day, it boils down to the individuals, because you will see the child of quote and unquote a poor man. A child of a poor man will mind his or her business if he's in the society where he or she knows that if anything goes wrong, the father will not bail him, the mother is not coming to bail him.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So the child from a humble home is always conscious of his or her background.
Mm.
But the child of a bourgeois, after all, my father, don't you know, do you know me? Do you know who I am? My father is so and so, you know, and they begin to do rubbish in the society. So bringing up a child in such a horrible environment like our own boils down to the same integrity of the parents that we are talking about, because they look up to us parents as the guide.
Mm.
A father, like I said, sending the son to go and buy cigarettes. When he bring this, he say, no, it's not Craven A, it's Benson and Hedges. I ask you, will you return that this thing and bring Benson and Hedges to me? He will come back and come with the Benson and Hedges. This is what, he will not say, oh, my son, yeah, that's, I told you to buy Benson. You are praising that child for the negative, for wrong things.
Mm.
When you know the implication of smoking, how many times will the companies print and advertise and do jingles? Smoking is not good. We are likely to die young. How many times before parents will agree or we told the line? So, my dear, bringing up a child in such an environment is difficult, but it's not difficult because it depends on who you are. It depends on who you are. If you are a disciplinarian and you are living those principles, you are living those traits, the children will have no choice but to follow your footsteps.
Mm.
But if you say, like I said, do as I say, but not as I do. Don't look up to me, but just do exactly what I've asked you to do. No, it will not work. It will not work because your peers will tell you, that's your papa wey dey say do as you do. You dey do so. Is it not your father I saw so and so place? Is it not your mother? So they begin to taunt the child, and before you know it, the child will give up and say, without let me kuku follow the crowd. So integrity is the word. Integrity is very, very, very crucial. When you say yes, let it be yes. When you say I am coming, come. When you say wait for me at so and so junction by 2 p.m., 2 p.m. be there. If you are not going to be there by 2 p.m., tell the person why you will not be there by that 2 p.m. so that they can shift the program. Like Mr. Fortune, I told you that 12 o'clock is not visible because when you called me by the time you called me, I was a few kilometers. Let me not say so many, a few kilometers from my home, and I needed to come home and be ready. And I pleaded for 1 extra hour, which you obliged. And if you had said no, there was nothing I could do. I would say, okay, let me see. But you see that today I am relaxed because conditions today are more favorable than what they were yesterday. So that is it. Yeah. Integrity, reliability, uprightness. You must be. You let your yea be yea and your nay be yea. That is what the Bible says. If you want to say yeah nay, yeah. No. There's nothing like that. Either you are up or you are down. That's it.
Indeed.
Thank you.
So at the end of the day, what we can draw from this is that these are virtues parents should actually show because the children are watching. So it's one thing to expect this from the children, but it's another thing to be that example. And speaking about example, going to use certain societies without mentioning names of those societies, where institutions actually show children things that they are not supposed to be shown, like pornography and the rest. And they put children and they term this education. I think it's a very tough situation. That's why most of our children are being exposed to things beyond their years. And even at that, even if one gets to a certain age, a child is supposed to be moral. And when he grows up, he should be of a moral mind. So unfortunately, we see that even institutions are aiding to the destruction of children, institutions who are supposed to represent authority, because once a child is handed over by his authority to another authority, that is communicating to the child that the father is telling the child indirectly that I trust this entity, or I trust this person I'm handing over to you. And that means I'm handing the authority over to this person because I have confidence in that. And unfortunately, if you make the wrong choice as to who you hand over your child to, whether for a time, you risk exposures to certain attributes if you're one of a moral mind for that child to learn from this authority you have given. Unfortunately, we have institutions that are teaching children or exposing children very early in their years, all in the name of sex education. It's an unfortunate situation, and I think it's one of those things that needs to be spoken about. That should be relegated to the parent, and the parent should be careful on what tool and what manner in which children are exposed on any of these vices in society. So with that note, I would say parents, do the needful. Try to be more invested in your children's life. If you want truly a change, you cannot continue to complain, because these children represent our representations in the future when we're no longer here. We want that change. We must start to act on that change now, understanding that the damage has been done. Do we remain in the damage, or do we start to fix the damage? So it's a question we must ask ourselves as authorities, as guardians, and as parents. Let's try to fix and do what is right, and let's attempt to change the society. And with that said, I would like to thank you once again for always being present. Thank you once again for the knowledge. It's unmeasurable. I cannot begin to appreciate you enough. And as usual, we hope that we continue this collaboration. And as the Most High strengthens us, we continue to push and advocate for what is right. And hopefully, by His grace, we would get to the needed height to be able to impact the necessary change on a large scale. I don't know if we have any final goodbyes, so not necessarily an elaboration because we don't have the time. So if you can just have in the next 30 seconds, if you want to say or speak to the audience, then this is your time. But before we get to that,
Yeah.
if you would like to support us, your likes would do well enough, your subscriptions, and of course, if you would like to come on the talk show, obviously you are welcome. Kindly send us an email. So an email is just here, right here, and of course you will see it above us as the session is being played. All right. So if you have a final goodbyes for our audience, now is the time. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Fortune, for always being there. You want this is a crusade you have started, and by His grace, you will get the strength and the wherewithal to finish that crusade. That's it. That's my final word. Thank you very much, Mr. Fortune.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you
Yes,
too.
thank
Also,
you.
and all glory to the Most High. All right. Do have a
Okay.
great day and continue to support us. And this is it from us at Yeshua Kids Garden. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Taruar. Taruar of Yeshua Kids Garden. Okay, my name is Taruar, the cool one. Yeah, I said it. I'm the cool one. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so just kidding, by the way. Gotta be humble here. Okay, so now my name is Taruar, and I'm the guy with the announcements, the informations, and the reminders. So, speaking of reminders, if you are yet to subscribe to all our platforms, subscribe to us and follow us on TikTok at YeshuaKidsGarden.ykg, Instagram, Yeshua Kids Garden, and lastly, on YouTube. Come on, you want to take a guess? Yeshua Kids Garden as well. Okay, so follow us on all these platforms. It's really that easy. This way, you never miss out on anything. So come on now, it's just a button. Click it. Click the subscribe. Click the follow. Come on now. Click it. Click it. Click it. Come on, click it. Alright, so now the announcements. In some time and over a period of time, we will be organizing some quiz which you will have the chance to participate in. Alright, so now what will the quizzes be based on? It will be based on what we've learned so far. I will be the host and I will be asking the questions based on all we have treated in the past. So, people with the correct answers will be selected at random for a gift or cash prize, which will be issued by our sponsor for today. So, just before we introduce you to our sponsor, in case you would like to join our community, WhatsApp to be precise, or follow our channel on WhatsApp as well, the link is in the description. Come on now. Be with the cool team. Yeah. The cool team. Okay. Now, back to our sponsor. So, now, who is our sponsor? Who is that awesome entity? Or what is that awesome entity that is helping us out? Or that is showing us the great support that we need to make this show a success. So, now let's get to it. Our sponsor for today, and our primary sponsor in all, is DistressSales.net, a platform where you can buy distress sales items. Also, sell, of course. And you know what? Sign up is free. Who does that if not DistressSales.net? So, join in today, join their platform, and actually see and sell, view, and buy. Okay, distress sales items. Okay, so check it out. Okay, so just to give you an idea of what they do, their advert will be right on the side over here, and I'm just gonna be here keeping quiet. Right on the side here will be their advert. That way you understand what they're really all about. Okay. All right, so I'll be on the side.
Hey, look, these days, where economy just they fail. Come with Sapa way, no fit explain. You get brand where they sell, we go pay. We go pay, go pay, go pay. Hey, look, info, Leon Finfo, follow me, go, may we get money. Make you call your amigos, free membership, sign up quick, and no they carry body. If you buy, if you sell for this website, no commission, no cost for this website. But cool sellers, we go give you good price. And if you know like I'm go the next guy. Hey, no middleman, we go try take your money, they do your thing on a solo. If you find anything, if you sharply buy for any location, where you there, so my manana, distress sales. My manana, distress sales. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net. Distress sales.net.
Everybody just they dance, they smile for here, man. Like say things they share for this website. Maybe go check out this website, man.